This meeting is being live streamed. Welcome, welcome. I'm just going to say welcome for like 30 seconds as we boot up, because honestly, y'all, with YouTube, you never know. You never know when you're actually live. Welcome, welcome to WhollyShift, everyone. Good to see you. Happy Wednesday. Happy Friends Day Wednesday. Happy hump day. Some of y'all might be thinking, it kind of feels like a hump day, doesn't it? It feels like kind of like one of those mountain tops.
No, it's just a good day to be alive. I'm happy to be here. I was stressed to get here, but I remembered it's not about being stressed to get here. It's my anxious excitement to get here. You know, you get to shift.
Reframe it. You get to reframe it.
You get to WhollyShift and reframe it, and it just changes your energy about it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to say, you look marvelous. I know you've been working all day and you were like sliding into home base so you could be at this beautiful space that we're co-creating. Yes. Second week in a row that we've been on. Well, last week we were supposed to be on our new YouTube channel, but we uploaded. So y'all can catch last week's episode. Yes. Here we are tonight at that official WhollyShift YouTube channel. What's up? High five to the vibe on that one, babe.
High five to the vibe. We have WhollyShifted. Oh my God, I'm so excited. That's great. You know, one step at a time.
Well, one step at a time, 1 week at a time. For those of y'all who might be tuning in for the first time, we are continuously a work in progress, as we find that each and every human being is. And part of why we wanted to have the WhollyShift was to document and to share the authentic experience of transformation, how you don't just turn up and you're automatically a rock star. Like you're always, let's be real. You're always a diamond, right? But that diamond gets refined through taking one step at a time, through having the breakdowns where the internet doesn't work, or maybe being tongue-tied from time to time, just having less experience. And so you become an authority, or you become an expert at whatever it is that you're up to through the process. The process forges the diamond. So here we are tonight, and just ready to rock and roll and share what's been coming up for us, and share some knowledge and wisdom about hustle and flow.
Hustle and flow. You know, it's hot out here for a pimp, you know? Yeah, y'all. That is just really. Are you still there? Let me see. I think you kind of froze.
Yeah, I think a weird thing happened there. I think that might be on my end, actually.
There you go.
Am I back? Am I back? You know what? I'm going to try a bold move. Will you hold down the fort for a second as I switch over to like Ethernet here? It's already hooked up. I just forgot to go off.
It's fine. We're going to tag team because I'm doing this.
Because you know how to hold it down. All right, I'll be back in like 20 seconds.
I'll do the same thing after you. So
sweet.
You hear them talk for you. Yes, no problem. Thank you all. We are okay. So as I was singing, it's hard out here for a pimp, because it truly, truly is. But it truly isn't. Because let me tell you this. This is the hustle and flow of life. Whew. The hustle and flow of life is that you get to choose if it's hard or if it's not. It's really that simple. So I'm Michelle M. Trey Hollis, in case y'all didn't know, with Vision Board Music and Vision for the Soul, where we be in harmony of sound, mind, body, spirit, and money. And I have decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. Including my own now. Ooh. And especially my own, I would say. And I've decided to take the easy route. So we're going to talk a little bit about what the easy route is, because we are really finding through this experience, we're figuring it out. We are really figuring some stuff out, aren't we, Alexa?
And how has the struggle been so real to get to the place where it's like, oh, maybe easy actually is the way. Maybe ease is the way. How hard have I been making this for myself and for everyone around me by taking the struggle bus road? And how little progress did I actually, and we're always breaking through, right? Like one thing leads to the next. Like, who knows if I didn't have 2 decades of just like feeling like I was like Groundhog Day, right? Like, whoa, I felt like I handled this already. Like, why am I still in this predicament? But really like realizing that it's actually so much simpler than I ever thought it could be.
And here's the thing. It's not your fault. Did you introduce yourself officially?
I didn't introduce myself. I did not. So hi everyone. And thank you, Michelle. Love being here with you every week.
Thank you.
We're clearly in love with each other. We've got a best friendship, girlfriendship, just, partners in rise. As
I get goosebumps.
I do too. And it's like, it's ridiculous because I know anytime I call you, and I'll get to introducing myself here for a minute, but like, I know every time I call you, we're going to be on the phone for like an hour and a half, like tripping about like all the awesome, like, we're like, oh my gosh, you experienced that. And like, where are you at? And you're just such a great listener and a great speaker. And so wise and really doing the work. And I consider myself a very great listener. And as I've gotten more confident, I've stepped into being able to actually have the clarity and without the anxiety to really be able to transmit like actually all of the knowledge that we have. So
yes,
here we are. My name's Alexa. I am the transformational activator. And so I empower, I empower and inspire and really activate leaders, visionary entrepreneurs, people who are on a path of transformation or who are interested in up-leveling, to really activate to your inner guidance so that you can then go out and create your biggest results in life, including happiness and fulfillment, and create really generative win-win experiences for yourself and for others. And so I'm here at the WhollyShift with Michelle. We met in a business accelerator together and didn't know. I mean, honestly, I did not know that this path would be our path together. Like maybe it was like the second time that we talked on the phone that I was like, oh, this is like really special person here. And I
always had my eye on Alexa there.
Oh, thanks.
Who doesn't know? I mean, come on.
Oh, well, you flatter me. Still looking for the one, you know what I'm saying? But, it's there's plenty of the ones out there though. Let's be honest.
The one.
The ones. Yeah. Multiples. But I think just this idea, Michelle and I realized that we were having so many similarities on our path, and we were both simultaneously walking the path of recovery from various addictions to being a human, addictions to, old ways of thinking, sorrow, anything that was getting in our way of happiness, but also actually addiction to, for me, it was drinking and just really feeling like overall, like not right myself, like that dis-ease. And so as we continue to talk, it was like, oh man, there's so much to unpack here that we can support others with. So that's really what we're excited about each week, is to just come and share. And we're going to be having some awesome guests on soon too, that are rock stars.
I'm so excited about some of the guests we're going to have. Alexa, you don't even know.
We haven't talked about that yet. I can't wait.
Yes, it's amazing what can happen when you just open up the opportunity,
when you keep putting one foot in front of the next and moving forward. But so I would love to hear for you about this ease, because we were noticing 2 weeks ago when we had our last episode, we were like, wow, okay. I actually declared that I was ready to have a breakthrough in the hustle and the flow, right? And being organized. And I'd love to, I'm excited to share about that later, but I'm curious for you, what's been opening up for you around the hustle and the flow?
It has been, it is a holy shift indeed. Let me tell you. What I'm trying to do real quick was just get this.
You dialing something in for us?
Well, what it is that whoa, wait, did I do that? Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, that was an accident. That I just made an accident and accidentally sent someone something I didn't need to send them.
Oh, nice. That's fun.
I'm sorry. How about you start?
You want me to start? Okay, perf. All right. Yeah, hustle and flow. I do feel that I have had some breakthroughs, right? That was the intention. I do feel that I have had some breakthroughs. And I also have noticed that there's still been this sort of like challenge of focusing. Like I haven't fully broken through the challenge of focusing. Yeah, like
Obviously
that's
me.
you're like
I'm like,
that. I've never had a. Have you ever had a problem with that?
are you laughing, dude? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I feel you though. I feel you. It's easy to happen. Okay, let us know more though. I'd love to hear more about what you mean.
Yeah, well, I think also what I've been noticing too though is that the more, so I've got a couple different things going on, right? Like I've got a couple different business ventures going on. I've been feeling guilty because there's sometimes when I'm like, okay, this is the middle of the workday, but I actually want to work on my personal stuff.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I've been having that kind of push pull, and I'm sure we've got entrepreneurs out there who can relate. Like maybe you've got your side hustle, but you've got your day job, and you're like, oh, I'm working from home now, so like nobody's really going to know if I'm working on my own stuff. But like, how do I feel out of alignment? Do I feel out of integrity? And what I kind of realized this week is that like my personal brand and my company brand are actually one and the same.
Absolutely. Especially yours.
Especially mine, but I think there's probably aspects of this that we could, each of us on our personal journeys could incorporate when you think about like, okay, what are the nexuses here? Like, how does me thriving in this area actually enhance me in this other area? And actually, if I can bring the highest vibe version of myself, because the highest vibe version of myself feels like, wow, I actually, I did the thing that I was intuitively drawn to, that I was really getting inspiration and hits from the universe.
Yeah.
I think in the old paradigm, we would think like, oh, that's daydreaming, right? Like I really want to be doing this, but actually I'm supposed to be busy and focused and like, grinding, right? But those hits of inspiration are actually what the universe is trying to say. Like, you're supposed to be focused over here. Like, this is actually what you get to be working on right now, because this is what's going to drive your profit. This is what's going to drive your success. This is what's going to drive your, if you're happy and you're in that energy, like you're going to be, connecting from that space and opening up many, many different opportunities. So really, instead, this week I got pretty decent at like dropping the guilt and being like, okay, you know what? It's fine for like actually me thriving as my own message.
Yes.
Is just going to draw more people in, which then of course is going to benefit my other business. Of course. 100%.
Good for you. You came. That was a big breakthrough this week.
It was a good breakthrough. It was a good breakthrough. And I was like, I'm always working on something. It's just, it might not exactly be like this list of to-dos that I was like, damn, I need to get X, Y, and Z done and at X, Y, and time. So like learning to flow more with that and be like, okay, what is actually like authentically being called for right now versus like what is like the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I love that because that goes right with our conversation of hustle and flow. And that's really where we're at. That's why we picked that, because we're like you said, we're at the stage where we're getting to the point where we're like, okay, I got the flow. I feel like I've got the flow down, but now how do I get the hustle? Because at first we had the hustle down, but how do you get the flow? It is an ebb and flow. The hustle and flow is, However, and I love what you're saying, because yes, when everything does become easier when you allow yourself to go first. We hear it all the time in transformation. I get to go. Our emotions and our needs are everything in our life experience. That's just the bottom line. You know what I mean? And that's what's come up really powerfully for me. And our relationships, our
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the lifeblood of life is that, is relationships. You know what I mean? Lone wolfing it just doesn't work.
Nope.
And that's in any way, you know what I mean? But particularly when you have a passion project that you're wanting to grow and to attract people. You can't, how can you attract people and then be alone? It doesn't, you're repelling people at that point, you know?
So true. Yeah. When you're being a lone wolf, when you're isolating, when you're working too hard, and then also not to mention when you're in a bad mood.
Yes.
Because you're all struggle bus.
Yeah. And here is what I'm learning. For, just based on like even what you're saying, and I'm so happy to see you there, because I had the privilege of seeing you in action a couple weeks ago, really giving your talk and getting, really opening up and getting vulnerable and sharing from your personal experience. And that changes things. I mean, it makes it super easy for you because you are speaking about what you know. You know what I mean? You're speaking about, it's not a stretch. It's not false. So you don't even have to posture in any way, you just can be open. Yeah. And I felt that, and so did everybody else. Everybody was just absolutely, really blessed with the tips that you gave. And so I was just really happy about that. And I was happy I got to see that. And I was happy I got to attend that, because that day was the day after I found out that a really dear friend of mine died. So that morning, and this is what I'm telling that story not to make it about me, folks, sure. but it's to share the power of connection and why it's important. You know what I'm saying? Because me going to support Alexa and to, knowing that I was going to love what she was speaking on anyways. And I can't remember.
Just give a little context, because I don't think nobody. So I gave a talk 2 weeks ago or last Friday at something called the New Futures Summit. And it was about being an entrepreneur in this new space where we can hustle and we can flow, right? And we can have success through ease, and like a spiritual basis and a foundation for being an entrepreneur. But also there was all kinds of speakers on marketing, all aspects of business. But I had the opportunity to kick off the entire thing, because truly what I'm all about is exactly what that topic was. And it was so awesome that Michelle came, and in true Michelle fashion, for anybody who has the pleasure and the opportunity to connect with Michelle, like, she is a massive cheerleader, light, just like biggest advocate of greatness. And so having her there, she was just like cheering me on. She was asking questions, and like a lot of people had their cameras off. And so it was just like, it was so invigorating to have you there. And the fact that you felt like it really, like, that it actually activated people, which was like the whole point of the talk. That's really awesome feedback. So thank you for.
You're welcome. I would love, and just to make sure that the context is even more dialed in. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me?
Totally. 100%. I can.
Okay. Because this is not working. Okay. Can you let them know, like, not, obviously the whole thing, but can you just give them like the title of your speech? Do you remember?
Oh yeah. So the title of my talk was "Do Less, Create More." Right? Hustle and flow. Do less and create more. And so that's the context. And the idea is exactly what we're talking about right now, like slowing down to speed up, right?
And that was such a blessing to me, because I had just found out that a really dear friend of mine died. It really rocked my world. And I took the next day off from my new job, even because I was like, I couldn't sleep after finding that out the night before. But I slept for a couple hours, but then I saw Alexa's thing coming up, and it reminded me on Facebook, and I was like, oh yeah, so I went. And that was really that was something that was very important for me to hear, even, you know what I'm saying? Is just to remember, like, do less, create more is a great way to launch into the healing process that was necessary. It's going to be 2 weeks tomorrow. Wow. And I really took a big pause. We didn't even have the WhollyShift last week, because I was really doing I was really mourning the loss of my friend. I was mourning his loss, but I was honoring our friendship because he meant that much to me. And I mean, I didn't even get to really honor my dad's, when he died, because I was working a job and you get 3 days bereavement. Like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the society that we're living in right now, is that nothing's sacred. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That is why we feel the tug of war especially when we are going against the grain of our own ease and our own understanding of what's important in life. It's like, what is it all worth? That's why it doesn't feel good.
Oh my gosh. Right. It's like what you're just like constantly speeding past, you're speeding past to like get to the destination. You never get to the destination, number one, or when you do, you're so spent and stressed out that it's like, it passes by, you just sleep, or, you don't enjoy it. You don't enjoy the honeymoon because the entire time you were just like slogging it. And then you get old and you're like, wow, what did that get? I mean, maybe you have money, maybe not. I mean, a lot of people schlock through all of it and they don't even have money at that point.
Yeah. And what it is, I'm learning through, Alexa and I we geek out on modalities and on different concepts and wisdoms, that have stood the test of time, and, ancient wisdoms, tribal wisdom, biblical wisdom. I mean, there's wisdom has been passed to us through stories for a reason, because a lot of things are saying the same thing. It's just we get an emotional memory through a story. Whereas through a concept that can a lot of times just be brain, but the body doesn't absorb it like a story. There's a good story is going to encompass your visual, it's going to encompass you hearing, it's going to encompass your thinking, your imagination. So it's going to take your whole story, your whole body. So it's going to be easier to remember. And then you add it and turn it into a song. And then that's how you remember where L is from V in the alphabet. You know what I mean? Like, it's just true. But it's powerful, but so the hustle and flow, it couldn't have been really a better, I mean, if we're, this topic, it was really a perfect moment for that, because just like you were saying, do less, create more. Hustle and flow. I had to honor. I knew that the way that as heavy as I felt for his passing, and here's something I want to ask everyone. Have you ever had a thought or a feeling to do something, to talk to someone, and you did it, and then you find out they died 2 days later?
Oh, I've never had that experience. Is that what happened?
Wow. That's exactly what happened. I talked to his brother, Josh, 2 days before. And I was going to say, hey, tell Matt to call me. That was what I was going to do. But it was like flashes. It's not like I really like fought with it and didn't do it. You know what I mean? But it was just flashes of thinking about it, because I remember, but then my ego got in the way, because I said, well, maybe he's with someone real serious, and, all these things. And even though, and if that was the case, who cared? You know what I mean? It should have been, that shouldn't have been the point anyways. Yes. But I mean, I didn't really think too much about it, but even in those 2 days, I felt like I even had a thought of, because I met him when I was 20, like 20 years ago.
And 40. Best life. Fucking awesome. Part of my language. Yeah. Yep.
But you know what? And he really taught me a lot. I really dug deep in our relationship. And it wasn't to, and I had to go through all the emotions, even, and it wasn't about like, oh God, what if that would have saved him or anything? It wasn't that. It was just like, damn, I could have at least talked to him. I could have just at least put that energy out there.
Right.
Wow. How many things though, maybe it's not that situation, but how many times do we not jump at an opportunity that our heart is telling us to do.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yes, that's super powerful. And of course it's like in the maximum, like clear package that it could possibly be in. Like, get the inspiration, act on it, the person may die, right? Like there's no second chances. There's the moment is the moment until it's not the moment, and then it is never returnable. And I think that's such a key. I mean, first of all, like, wow, are you doing okay at this point? Like, how do you feel right? Do you feel like,
oh, I love you, Alexa.
have you you've gone deep into the shadow and you're coming back out the other side?
Yes, because here's the gift. Here's the gift, because there's a gift. The gift is that energy is never destroyed. You get to have clearing conversations with energetically. And the gift, I mean, I have goosebumps. And I'll tell you more about the rest of this story later.
Yes.
But it is vital that we treat our relationships with people that are special as sacred. That people are like, nothing is sacred these days. And it's like, that's the problem with this planet, is that nothing is sacred.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, and when we can, I don't care if you're the CDC or if you're the person who's against, you know, but everyone is acting like no one matters. Whether you're telling it's only a percentage of this people that's dying, so who cares? How rude. That's a rude thought. And people that are just making decisions that aren't thinking about the whole and thinking things through, that's rude too. So it's the same pendulum. It's the same end. I mean, it's a different end of the same stick. And that's the issue. So our work is to align with our pendulum. And that's where you get the ease. That's where your life becomes easy. So the best thing that, you know, me honoring myself for those 2 weeks has just completely transformed my life. God has come through powerfully, so powerfully. And I even feel like I received a blessing and a gift from Matt energetically. And I don't say that lightly.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so exciting. I can't wait to hear more about this. I want to unpack a little bit this idea of pendulum and say what my understanding of pendulums is.
Yes.
That pendulums from the research that I did, that Michelle passed on, that we both tripped out on for a while, is that like, this is my interpretation, and you might have a slightly different interpretation, but just so everybody who's watching has an awareness. Pendulums are like basically energy that's grouped around certain ways of doing things, or certain trends, or certain like cultural expectations that's not authentically your truth. But because there's so much energy, right? The media hypes it, like it becomes a trend. It's like everybody does things this way, so like that's what's expected of you. And then people go through their lives like by somebody else's agenda, by this popular energetic kind of vortex that gets created, that everybody's just because nobody is tuned in to their truth. Everybody just does the thing that is expected, or, you know, and these pendulums can show up in many different ways. But the idea is that if you're not really tuned in and tapped into like your inner truth and in alignment, that you'll live your life by these societal expectations, AKA pendulums. So, and that's so powerful, because really like, but what you're saying is like this idea around the fact that like what's really pervasive right now is this experience around like nothing being sacred, nothing mattering. Like people are so apathetic. They're not seeing possibilities. They're like, well, fuck this. Like, what do I matter? Like, it's all going to shit anyway. So I'm going to do whatever I want. Right. So that's a massive pendulum that is being a worldwide planetary pendulum. And that is exactly what the WhollyShift is shifting out of. We're shifting out of that, because that is not your energy, people. That is not your energy. Your energy is actually love. It's actually connection. It's actually turned on. Like when you authentically clear yourself from this bullshit, like other people mind think that's going on here. Like energy is real. And if you get enough people thinking a dominant thought, like that is going to affect you. But once you get tuned into your truth and you create your own energy field that's strong enough, you can actually create a new pendulum, a new dominant thought energy that other people start following your vision because they're like, oh, I see that. I want that. That person's tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And like, that's actually the experience that people who set the pendulums are like, normally they're actually tuned into something real for them. And then because other people are not connected, they'll just jump onto that energy frequency.
Thank you for breaking that down, because that is it's so important to know that there are more than two conversations to be had on this earth, right now. There's so many more conversations to have. and the other day I was saying it's like it's like people are talking seesaw. Like you can have seesaw. I'm like, that is going nowhere. That's going nowhere. Very slowly. It's going nowhere.
Just more anger.
It's just up and down, up and down. I mean, there's no motion there. That's the only motion that's getting. Perhaps you might get whiplash, or get flung off. But I like to visualize the pendulums. The way I look at them is like a grandfather clock, and that swinging thing. That's a pendulum, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
So I kind of think of it in timelines, and I think way too hard about this, guys. So sorry.
I love it. I love it. Illuminate us.
Not to like go. I'm trying to take it one step at a time in explanation, but I look at it like you have your own grandfather clock of time of pendulum, on this earth, but because we've not been taught, it's nobody's fault. People have been they're searching for significance in all the wrong places. So they're jumping on to other timelines and energies, but the other pendulums are only taking their energy. They're only taking
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's an energy suck.
It's an energy suck. But this is an abundant universe. Everyone gets to have their own, for real. Like, that's it. Everyone gets to have. We all get to have our own. We don't have to. We did not come to this world to fight about politics, bro. Like, that's not why we were born, and that's not why this universe exists. I know that to be true.
100%. Yeah. I mean, we didn't come to this earth to I mean, as you always say, like we are the stars in our own movies, right? Like we're the leading role in our own movie. So if you're feeling in any way, shape, or form that you are not, that means that there's a higher possibility for you, and you're probably living by somebody else's expectations or energy. I mean, this is some of this can be super unconscious, right? It's like, this is like the default, right? It's like we default to getting caught up in whatever. I mean, I would say for so many years for me, like the pendulum was anxiety. The pendulum was discontent. The pendulum was like, there's something wrong with me, like obsession with, just not feeling good, right? That's not my dominant. That's actually not my natural born dominant God-given frequency, right? Like there's something off there like that. So if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling anxious, I mean, it's actually good because maybe you're starting to wake up to the fact that you're not turned on. You're not tuned in, you're not plugged in the way that you can be. And that's great. That means that there's more work to do. At least you're aware. And also this idea, I mean, really like the beauty of this, all of this, right? Like this whole experience of transforming is that each moment becomes this like really abundant, exciting, like never been experienced before. It's like taste different, your eyes see things that like you have never seen before. You have conversation. Like, it's like everything turns into like an aphrodisiac, really, of experiences to where you're just like, this is the best drug I've ever done. Life, like with a capital LIFE, life. Like what good concoction is that, man?
It is truly, it's the real red pill or blue pill choice. That is the choice. The power of choice is in every moment. Every moment. That's the rub. There is no autopilot in life for real. And why would you want to autopilot through? Just think about how that doesn't even make sense. It's here to be experienced. But what the industrial age has done and the industrial revolution has done is that it has promised us, to create a life where we don't have to live it. I mean, basically, you know what I mean? You're not going to have to do anything. It's like, wow.
That's so whack. Oh my God, I can't wait to unpack that. But yeah, finish your thought, because I'm just like, wow, thank you for just like opening up that really whacked perspective.
And I was saying the other day, I was like, and then, so what they created was robots. They try to turn us into robots. Created robot food, like assembly line food for the assembly line robots. Like, when you think about it, you know what I'm saying? Food that has no life, no substance. I mean, it's literally like going to grab a bottle of oil to put in that's what I was thinking. I was like, this is processed foods is robot food.
Yeah.
It's robot food to keep the robots able to continue to work on the machines.
Yeah.
Just long enough until they
die.
Replace it.
Yeah. Oh, damn. It's so true. It's like the Industrial Revolution really did. And, it's interesting because it's like, I can get into some conspiracy theory stuff like pretty easily. Like I'm pretty much just, I don't even need to do that much research. I'm like, that's actually what's happening. But that's, my own version of whatever.
It's always the
Right. Right. But so I don't know if all of this was created with malicious intent, although maybe it was. It's totally possible. But the reality is that at some point we thought of like mechanized labor, and we're like, oh, we can get things done faster if we just have this production assembly line, and we use, we can get things, we can make things happen much faster. Slaves, I mean, some like, hey, we can make this thing happen faster if we, do it in this way, right? Then they turned to the Industrial Revolution and they started creating machines for all of this. Like, I do see each of these moments of history, maybe not all of them, but like there's periods that for evolution and for the evolution of consciousness, like you have to go through this experience to get to the next experience. And so I think mechanized labor, I think the Industrial Revolution, I think all of that needed to happen to get to a place where we're like, okay, now we've got enough awareness, like we've created enough things, we have enough scientific capacity, right, to create machines that will actually benefit us. Mm-hmm. Like we had to go through all of the kind of grosser versions of what that creates to get to where we are now. But now it's like we must infuse consciousness back into the equation. And of course, like if you're going from being out in the bush and like being out, like living in nature, hunting and gathering, being of the earth, like all of those things, like you're super infused with consciousness, with nature, all of that. As you move away from that, then of course you're going to get more divided from nature as you become more focused. You're developing other parts of your brain. Okay, fine. All of that's fine. Except now it's like, okay, we know what, if we continue in this direction, like we have the scientific knowledge, we have enough things now. It's time to start focusing back so that we can marry the two and actually create like contraptions and opportunities and, business creations and inventions that are like beyond our wildest dreams, that are mechanized and also like, scientific, and also very infused with like light energy, basically.
I love that you said, and I love that you said that as far as light energy, because I was thinking about E equals MC squared, which is E is energy equals mass times the speed of light. So it's like, we are all light beings, but if when there's an imbalance in that equation, we're having problems. You know, we're having problems, and that's the mass. Is the way I see that. You know what I mean? That's the particles. I feel like exactly. It's my belief that the journey is really the journey within. That's the expansion. Like, we really, the masculine, the toxic masculine. Let me be clear. Which is not all masculine people. It's just, there is a toxic masculine energy. There's toxic feminine energy too.
Sure.
You know, the toxic,
and sometimes women have the toxic masculine energy.
Exactly. It's not gender neutral, but it's not gender specific. What it is that there's ways of being that are guided by different instincts, and that's the yin and the yang. That's how I'm learning and understanding it, and it's so true. So it's my understanding, it's my belief that the heroine's journey is a really real one, which is that our next expansion is going to come from inside out. It's not more of things. It's not necessarily more things. It's because we get to understand that we've really got more than enough when it comes to things. In order to be conscious and create the way you're talking about, we get to go in and expand in the spiritual sense first. Like, there's just no way that this is sustainable. Like, there's no way that being a human being on earth, that profit and it is king. Like, that can't work anymore. It's not to negate abundance. What it is to do is it's to prioritize what is actually going to be beneficial to each and every one of us, and to allow to get to a place where we're so open and so connected within that we allow the universe to bring it in the way it's supposed to, in the most creative way.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That we're not pushing out.
Yep.
You know, we're actually we're pushing out imagination.
Yep. And heart, and intention.
Yes. And we're allowing in the expansion, and it's going to come in the universe's way, which is the relinquishing of control.
Yeah. Which is the flow.
That's the flow.
Which is the flow, which brings us back to hustle and flow. And awesome on that reframe, because it's cool to see how everything kind of interconnects. It's like, yes, that is the flow. That is, and how often am I, as this fledgling conscious creator that's just been really, like, finally stepping into the full awareness of, like, oh, actually, like, as you said, I mean, I loved what you said, like, there's no autopilot. Like, there's no there can be autopilot, but you are definitely checking out. And actually what you're doing when you do autopilot, which, listen, all of us go on autopilot some, right? Like, it's just, until we're enlightened, that's going to be the case. But, like, actually when I'm in autopilot, most of the time it's like, I'm like, there's something that I'm avoiding. I'm like, I don't feel good. I'm going to check out. I'm not going to pay attention to this, or like, I don't know how to deal with this. I'm going to avoid it. Or I'm going to push through when I'm getting the signal that, like, actually what the universe wants me to do right now is chill out and just, like, be, or take a different action so that I can get back into alignment. And, how often as an entrepreneur, or as a human even, but, like, especially when it comes to business, like, it can be so challenging when we've got that, like, pressure of, like, oh, I said I would do this, or, like, this is the deadline. And, like, how's my business gonna, like, how am I gonna launch my business, or where's my next paycheck gonna come from? Like, it can be so challenging to really honor those. Like, how often do I actually honor that wisdom? More and more, for sure. And it's kind of happening on its own accord as I imagine it that way. Like, that's been a really big part. Like, all of this, I've been kind of shocked at how much retraining my brain has needed to like get, because I meet some, I don't know, like maybe for those of you watching out there, maybe you, Michelle, like maybe you meet these people that are like, oh, I started meditating and like I just got it, like I just like I launched my business and like I attracted the love of my life and like I was just in like such flow and ease. I'm like, no, that has not been my experience. My experience has been that my default is to like ramrod things through, or like my brain wants to like obsess about the thing that's not happening and like feel bad about myself or feel like angry or like whatever. Like I have literally had to very consciously say, anytime I start to go into like sadness or something, like I can no longer indulge that, because that leads to just more of the same.
Good for you though. What a powerful understanding. Because it really that simple. And you would say that simple. And I know that we've all had lives where we have not taken the easy route, but one thing that I did, like when I went to my dark night of the soul walkabout for 3 years, 3 or 4 years, or 4 years ago or so, 4 or 5 years ago, I felt like I had to, because people love you for that positive attitude, but then it becomes too much for the wrong people. You know what I mean? They're like, it's not always that. You just are cocky, or you just don't have the problems.
They're pissed because they don't feel that good.
Right. Well, and I felt like I felt because I was in the wrong energy, I felt like maybe I was being overly, look, nobody, if you think I'm too positive, then you'll catch me later when you're ready to get out of there. You know what I mean? Because I'm not putting that to the side. I'm going to be like, and I'm going to be that friend. I'm that friend, man. She's
gonna woke you up. She's gonna woke you up.
I'm gonna be like, yes, that was wrong. And you also can do that, you can also choose this instead. Like I mean, we all know at this juncture we're old enough. If we're not old enough, then you can learn from me. I'm old enough to tell you that there is just no point. It's all true. It can be your horrible life situation can be as good as you want it to be.
Yes.
And you still get to choose, and you still must, and you still are choosing.
Yes.
And if you're choosing.
Yep.
And that's it. That's it.
I mean, that could be a tough pill to swallow when you first start down this path though, right?
Yeah. It
feels so real. I mean, it really feels, and it is, because like literally you are creating all of it, right? And you've got so much dominant energy, dominant patterns that are creating the chaos that at that point, it doesn't feel like a choice, because at that point you're so on autopilot that shit is just happening. But the more that you catch that and you start to think a new thought, you start to question like, oh, wait, what was my part in that? Like, okay, yeah, like so-and-so dumped me or whatever, right? Like this happened, like this was the outcome, but like, actually, how did I play a part in being here in the first place, right? Like, what is my part? And also noticing what you're attracting and starting to consciously shift that. Anyhow, I'm
I'm glad that you're saying all that, because it's true. It's true. It's everything you just said. I mean, yes, it's work. It's work. It's a work at first, because you're taking a momentum that's spinning out in this way, and you're stopping it, and then you're pushing it the opposite way. So it's a conscious effort. It's not you can't buy your way out of it. You can't, you can't charm your way out of it. You can't pretend your way out of it. You can't close down your way out of it. You can only step into it. That's the only option that we have. And it's the most beautiful opportunity, because it's when you decide that you matter enough to take the time to do so. You know what I mean? And because your life is meant for you to spend it with yourself. That's it. You are your life partner, bro. Like, you're your life partner.
You are your life partner.
Take your time. I want to tell a story. I'm going to make it very fast. I'm going to tell it in a few parts. So at the end of the day, or at the end of a couple of weeks, I, had really felt the pain. I did a lot of healing. There was so much that came up that because you let your heart break, then everything a lot comes out that you didn't realize that you needed to.
Wow,
You know what I mean?
powerful.
And so, and I honored it. I laid in bed, I cried. People, to the average person, I didn't even talk to my friend in 2 years, but he was my friend, man. And he was a heart of a friend. I love him. You know what I'm saying? And there's no limit, like to honor someone, you never can go wrong with that, man. You can never go wrong with that, to honor a friendship or no matter what happens. Because look, in life, yes, we get swept away by all the shit that's happening, but what really matters are the people in our lives and the lessons that we learn and the love that we share amongst each other. That's the truth.
Wow.
So I took the time to do that. And then on Friday, long story short, I was listening to a mix. I had just written a song by a producer that was one of my favorites when at the rave back in the day. And so I got an opportunity to write a song for him, and I wrote that and he liked it. So that my 17-year-old self was extremely happy for myself and, and ecstatic. And then I was listening to a mix, and this beat came on. It was so good. And it made me think of Madonna's Material World, except I said, ethereal world. I said, living in an ethereal world, and I am an ethereal. I was really feeling it so much, and I was the verse, I was freestyling to
So
it.
much that you went live that morning, which apparently you hadn't gone to bed yet. I was waking up in the morning, and you're going live, and I hopped on. I got this beautiful serenade from you. It was perfect.
And then none of my I went live twice, and they both did the same. So I said, well, that one was for you specifically, and the other one was for my sister-in-law who watched the other one, and then they went away. But I said, that's what it was about. You know what I mean? And that's fine. That's wonderful. That's beautiful. That's a gift. But anyways, long story short, I went and I allowed myself to receive the love that was trying to come in from my other friends, because one of my friends was DJing that night, and I didn't want to promise to go throughout the week, because my emotions were up and down, and I wanted to honor myself first. But then, in the final stretch, the last half an hour, when I was like, okay, if I go now, I'll have a half an hour to dance, but I'll go. I know the power of a half an hour on the dance floor.
Good times. Good times.
And so I went, and I had a great time, and I went outside, and then I was hanging out, and I met the most awesome human being, and he comes up to me, starts talking to me, and then somehow we got on how we both love the power of words, and he reaches in and he's like, I love words so much, I have a list of them and on my phone, my favorite ones. He was gonna pull it up, and I said, no, don't do that. I said, just what comes up. And he thought about it for a few seconds, and he goes, ethereal. Which I had just had a whole experience with that word, and we were just talking about the energy and everything.
So good.
I tell you all that story because the hustle and flow, you got to have flow. You get to have flow within yourself to connect with, to really allow the universe to bring in what's going to empower you. We're like besties now.
Awesome. You're he's right here. Come on in, Ron. Here he is.
I'm looking at the calendar because he's helped me to start a morning routine, which is something me. And that's sacred. You know what I mean? That's sacred. That's what I mean when I say sacred masculine. That is, and he's sacred masculine. And it was everything comes together when you decide to create and to understand what it is that you need and what life experience you want, then the universe will match that. And it's just awesome. So, and he also reminds me, he loves music like my friend Matt. I feel like he was a gift, a friend in the form of a gift.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's the opportunity when you honor your friendships and you honor your heart.
Yeah.
Then the opportunity is that the universe will bless you for that. That's why sacred is important.
I love that. I love that. And I love that reminder that relationships are really like at the center and the heart of so much of this. I mean, I used to think how uncomfortable, like I always had massive social anxiety and I was
Yeah.
always just like in dis-ease, even though I had really tight friends, but there was only specific people and then everybody else I was very uncomfortable with. And, you know, as I got older, it was like less and less, like I could connect with less and less people. And now that I've been opening up more and consciously manifesting and really moving through the like the lower shadow, the you know the denser energies that have been there, I'm just I that really has come alive, like my relationships. I mean you're the same, but like I'm like meet a new friend every day, you know, like what an awesome way to live by. And I might not see that person all the time, but when I see them, it's super connected. And also remembering that like, yes, these relationships, like this is some of the biggest blessings are our relationships. And I think even, you know, prior to like in the past, when I had like significant, like romantic relationships, there's a tendency to put so much energy into that one relationship because you're actually disconnected, that it's like, oh, I need it all from this one person. Like this is the only person who like we're on the same page. And now as you're expanding and as you're loving your life more and just like you're like kind of on a date with yourself, but then also the people that are around you, you're like, oh my gosh, like we're so connected, and just really connecting in with that reality that we are social creatures. Like we are so social, and how much, what a gift that is. So just echoing what you're saying, like it is so much of this is about our relationships and our ability to relate not only with ourselves, but in, you know, authentically with people who, you know, have something to offer, and also that we have something to offer too. And
you know, one of the big phrases that when me and my friend were talking, and we were having a lot of aha moments together. It was really great. One of the things, that phrase, and I think this wraps it up very nicely, is that what you see is what you get. People hear that. What you see is what you get, but really what you see is what you will get. So what are you seeing? What are you looking for and at with people, with your relationship? Are you expecting to get everything yourself? But what are you giving? What are you seeing? What opportunities are you seeing to bless someone else? That's how the blessings come back. You know, what gifts are you applauding people for? You know, what beauty are you seeing in the world? Because that's really all it boils down to. And then when you see the beauty in the world, then that's what you're going to get.
When you have an expectation, but it's like an expectation at the best space of expectation. Because I think when we hear expectations, we can be like, oh, you know, there's like you're expecting something, right? Like, but really it's like, like my expectation is that like, I'm going to be a giver and the world's going to be generous with me. And there is an abundance of beauty. There is enough for everyone. And I hold myself as worthy enough to receive it, because I'm in the flow. I'm in the flow.
Well, you
maybe
are.
Not all the times. Maybe not at all times, but more and more. So blessed be, may it be more and more. Hey, what do you think? Should we have a guest on next week?
Maybe. Yes. I would love to. I would really. We'll how about we share that?
Yep, we'll share
here in the next day or two.
Yep.
Because we've got some exciting opportunities and we're just opening and expanding it more. And I am so grateful for my routine now, because I'm like, it's just happening. It's like, it's happening. You know, you feel in control. You're feeling, so that's, and I'm talking about that so excitedly, guys, because like, that's what I needed more than anything, is a routine, that's what I believe in, the sacred, to pull the divine through to our life experience. That's that's sacred relationships, that sacred space, that sacred time. You know, it's honoring the love that we receive from the divine and from life, honoring it by being conscious about, and then even at our bodies, right, Alexa? I mean, that's what the Holy Shift is about too. Our bodies are sacred in temples.
Yeah, all of it has the opportunity to be sacred, and that's that moment to moment choice that Michelle was talking about. Like we've got these choices where it's like more obvious, and then we've got these like small moment to moment choices of like, okay, am I gonna say yes to this need right now, or am I gonna just, you know, shut it down, or like, you know, am I gonna push? So okay, so it's 8:30. So guys, thank everyone who tuned in. Thank you for being here. We will announce who our special guest is going to be soon. Keep, you know, we'll more, stay tuned. Like, subscribe.
Yes.
Right?
Comment,
like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you think.
Share.
If you're awesome and you're like, hey, I've got some magic to share, let us know. We will totally reach out. I mean, this is a co-collaborative space, and we want to know what you guys are up to. That's just going to rock our worlds, because we're always in a space where we want to learn more from visionaries. Yeah.
We all get to go to get, you know, we'll rock right up to the sun hand in hand. Like Lauryn Hill said, if we rule the world, I'd free all my sons. You know?
All right. Good night, everyone. Bye. We love you. See you soon.